They were screaming so loud the sound seemed to rattle the trees around the lake. Rachel and Lauren stood knee-deep in the water, their hands clutching thick, wet clumps of hair ripped straight from their own scalps. Their eyes locked on me, faces twisted in terror, and Rachel shrieked, "You poisoned us! This is your fault!" But I had warned them. I had warned them again and again, and now with the entire neighborhood gathered to watch, no one believed their lies anymore. When I first moved to Pine Brook, I thought I had finally found peace. My house sat on a quiet stretch of land, guarded by tall pines overlooking a lake that shimmered at sunset. To anyone driving past, it probably looked idyllic, almost like a postcard. But the truth was darker. The lake was toxic. Years earlier, an industrial plant upstream had dumped runoff into the water, and even though the company had long since been shut down, the damage stayed. The soil, the water, everything about that lake was poisoned. The county had declared it unsafe. Big yellow warning signs stood hammered into the ground. Hazardous water. No swimming. I wasn't naive. I knew the lake would never be the kind of place you let kids splash around or where families held barbecues. But I thought I could live beside it, maybe find peace in the quiet reflection of the trees on the water, as long as everyone respected the danger. I put up extra signs, strung caution tape across the old dock the previous owner had left, and figured common sense would do the rest. Turns out I underestimated stupidity and arrogance. Rachel and Lauren Whitmore were my neighbors. Sisters in their 40s, both members of the HOA, and both the kind of people who lived to meddle. Rachel was the louder one, strutting around in floral dresses like she owned the street, blonde hair tied up like a crown. Lauren was sharper, darker, always smirking as if she knew a joke no one else got. From the day I moved in, they made themselves known. I'd catch them across the road, arms folded, whispering, staring like vultures, circling fresh meat. The first real clash came one scorching afternoon. I was fixing a door when I heard laughter outside, not the friendly kind, but the kind that cuts. I stepped out and froze. There they were, striding right across my yard with inflatable pool floats and towels heading straight for my dock. "Hey," I shouted, running after them. "This is private property." Rachel didn't even turn her head. Lauren glanced back, smirked, and laughed. "You can't swim here," I snapped. "It's dangerous. The water's toxic." Rachel stopped, planted her hands on her hips, and practically spit the word back at me. "Toxic. Please. You just don't want anyone else enjoying the lake. You think you're special because you bought property with a view. It's not a view. It's a hazard." I pointed at the warning sign right next to her. "Look at the signs. I put them up for a reason." Lauren rolled her eyes. "Do you think we're dumb enough to fall for that scare tactic? Nice try, loser." They pushed past me and stomped down the dock. Their laughter carried over the water as they dove in splashing, flipping me the finger like teenagers. I wanted to drag them out by their hair, but the law didn't give me that right. All I could do was pull out my phone and hit record while anger burned through my chest. From that day on, it became a game to them. They swam almost daily, left trash and towels on my porch, and mocked me every time I confronted them. Once I caught them sunbathing on my dock lawn chairs dragged right onto the planks. When I shouted for them to leave, Rachel lifted her drink and said, "You're welcome to join neighbor. Just don't cry about poison again. It's getting old." It wasn't just arrogance, it was sabotage. And then they escalated. Rachel went online into the neighborhood's Facebook group and wrote, "Our new neighbor is trying to hoard the lake. Claims it's toxic, but my sister and I swim in it daily and we're fine. Don't let him keep what belongs to the community." Dozens of comments piled up. People mocked me. Some even believed them. I tried posting the truth, linking county reports, reminding everyone of the danger. Rachel replied with sarcasm, Lauren with insults, and my words drowned beneath their lies. Suddenly, I was the paranoid control freak who wanted to block everyone else from having fun. One afternoon, I walked out and froze. Music blared from the water. Rachel and Lauren weren't alone anymore. Neighbors and even children were in the lake, bright floats bobbing on that toxic surface. My heart stopped. I ran down screaming, "Get out! It's not safe." Rachel turned to me, arms raised like some triumphant queen. "Don't listen to him. Look at me. I'm fine. He's just trying to scare everyone away." Parents hesitated, kids splashing dangerously close to that oily sheen on the water. My voice cracked as I begged them to stop. Some parents finally pulled their kids out, muttering apologies not to me but to the sisters. Rachel and Lauren laughed like they'd won. That night I couldn't sleep. For the first time I started to wonder if maybe I was losing it. Maybe I had become the crazy neighbor, the one ranting about invisible dangers. Everyone looked at me differently, their eyes saying, "What's wrong with you?" The weight of their judgment pressed on me, heavy and suffocating. For a moment I thought about giving up, closing my doors, letting them do whatever they wanted, and living with the shame of being the outcast. But then I remembered those kids splashing in the poison, their laughter mixing with Rachel's mockery. That image lit something inside me. Rage wasn't enough anymore. I needed proof, undeniable proof. So I drove into town and requested a full water analysis at a lab. I paid extra for rush results. Days crawled by, each one filled with more laughter echoing from the lake, more towels left on my porch, more lies spreading online. I stayed silent, waiting, holding on by a thread. When the results came, my hands shook as I unfolded the paper. Elevated chemical levels. Unsafe for human contact. Confirmed. This time, when I went online, I didn't rant. I posted facts, photographs of the warning signs, videos of the sisters trespassing, screenshots of their taunts, and finally, the lab report. The reaction was instant. Parents exploded with anger. "You let our kids swim there. Why would you lie?" Rachel and Lauren scrambled. They claimed the report was fake, that I'd doctored photos, that I was obsessed. But their panic showed. The more they fought, the worse they looked. For the first time, silence spread across the neighborhood, not silence of disbelief, but of shame. And then the lake itself delivered the final blow. It was a cloudy afternoon when I heard the first scream. I rushed to my porch and saw them, Rachel and Lauren, standing knee-deep in the water, clutching their heads. Their towels lay abandoned, their floral swimsuits clinging damp against their heavy frames. But it wasn't the scene that froze me. It was the hair. Thick clumps dangled from their fists, long blonde strands and dark brown chunks slipping through their fingers, floating like drowned weeds. They screamed again, raw and animal, and neighbors began gathering along the shoreline. Shock rippled through the crowd. Some gasped, others whispered. And then Rachel pointed at me, her face pale and twisted. "This is your fault. You poisoned the water." I walked down slowly, phone raised, recording every second. My voice came out steady. "I warned you. The signs warned you. The reports proved it. But you laughed. You mocked. And now this is the result." Lauren staggered forward, water dripping, clutching the last strands clinging to her head. "You think you're clever. We'll sue you for everything you have." But no one was listening to them anymore. Parents shouted from the crowd, "You dragged our kids in there. You lied to us." The sisters looked around, searching for support, but all they saw were faces hardened with anger and disgust. I lifted my phone higher so everyone could see. It's all here. The videos, the signs, the lab tests, the lies. If they want to blame me, let them. The truth speaks louder. Rachel broke first. She collapsed onto the grass, sobbing into her hands. Lauren stood stiff, jaw clenched, tears streaking through dirt on her face. Their arrogance was gone, replaced by shame that no one would ever forget. That night, the neighborhood Facebook group exploded with videos of them screaming, clutching fistfuls of their own hair. By morning, the clips had spread beyond our community. The HOA had no choice but to act. An emergency meeting was called. The room was packed, voices sharp with anger. Parents demanded accountability. Residents accused Rachel and Lauren of deception. When the sisters arrived, scarves and wigs barely hiding the truth, the place erupted in jeers. Rachel tried to spin the story, but every word was crushed under the weight of evidence. Lauren sneered, tried to deflect, but only revealed her desperation. The vote was swift and brutal. Stripped of their HOA positions, fined for trespassing and reckless endangerment, their reputation shattered. They went from self-appointed rule enforcers to pariahs, their names turned into warnings. I left the meeting and walked back to my porch. The lake stretched out silent, and indifferent warning signs still bright against the dull sky. For the first time in weeks, I felt something close to peace. The laughter that haunted me was gone. The arrogance that invaded my space was silenced. They thought they could own the water, but the water owned them. And if this story proves anything, it's that arrogance always collects its debt.